All right, I'm back for day 2 of IEM Dallas for Dust.CS's coverage of the event. I'm here with Vorborg, coming off of a tough loss against Complexity to end their run at the event. So I want to start off by asking you. I think we're looking at the veto for this match, and we saw you picked Anubis as your opener, which is a map that EG hasn't really played a whole lot, and that they've struggled to find wins on. Can you sort of walk us through the process of why you opened with Anubis?
Since the addition of Refresh, we've practiced it a good amount. Maybe we've struggled to find some wins, but before this, with Refresh, we were 50% win rate. Right now, sadly, that's the second highest we have of any map. We've been mainly practicing, right? So in bootcamp, we've been playing a ton of Anubis, had a lot of success on Anubis in practice. So yeah, that's what goes into it.
And so, if we look towards the actual match result on Anubis, it didn't go to plan with it being a 16-2. What do you think went wrong in sort of the planning for that stage? Was that sort of a shot in the dark to try to pick up that map, or did just the plan fail to sort of come together?
I think we were in several fairly good situations where, I'll have to go and rewatch it, but I feel like we just lost some fights that we usually win, and then maybe we had a little bit of they were B executing, B popping, hitting B a lot on a timing that we maybe haven't encountered too much in practice. So we had to do a little bit of adjustment. I think we tried, but again, it came down to some key duels that we lost almost every single one of those in this game, and then it's hard to win rounds in Counter-Strike.
Okay, and so you talk about the fact that you've brought Refresh into the project, and he's been working with the team for a while now. But as has been mentioned, he's only recently come to America. He's been playing online from Denmark. How long has Refresh been in the country with him, and how has it been working with him in person so far?
He only just arrived here in Dallas 2-3 days ago, but we were in Europe for 2.5 weeks ish. So we had that low ping environment for 2.5 weeks, and that's the good prep we've had for this tournament. But yeah, I think he's been adding a lot of good stuff to the team. He's bringing that veteran presence we wanted. He has a lot of ideas. He's been able to change how we view a lot of different situations. So yeah, we've been trying to incorporate that into our game. I think it has helped us a lot, but obviously we don't show that in this tournament.
Going back to sort of the second map in the series, Overpass, we looked at, it looked like Evil Geniuses were in a really good position to force a third map, ultimately being up 14-7 before Complexity were able to claw it back. What do you think went wrong in the second half of that match that ultimately allowed Complexity to find overtime and ultimately the series?
I think we gave up a ton of entries. From my point of view, again, I will have to go back and watch it, but it's like we knew they were going to play aggressive on CT. They did it yesterday on Nuke. They did it in the few rounds they had on Anubis today, and all throughout they were super aggressive, but it just kept working for them. We had to play a lot of rounds from a 4v5 situation, and yeah, that obviously makes everything a lot harder. So I think that was, at least right now, that was a big thing that went wrong for us.
So, not to put too fine of a point on it, but we're heading into the player break for Evil Geniuses, and obviously the season has not gone to plan at all. With the team only winning one LAN best of 3 in the past 6 months. What does the team do now to sort of recover and find their footing for after the player break?
A lot of evaluation, right? I think EG management will probably also have some evaluation to have. We'll start out now by talking about how these. We're probably going to evaluate them since Refresh joined, because we already talked about a lot of the other stuff, and see what we need to change and what we need to keep doing. Because again, it's been relatively brief period with Refresh, and I think some sort of balance also said this publicly, that every player break there is we're evaluating the roster and also my position as a coach, right? So we'll of course also have to see if it's the same 6 that you see after the break.
Now, you mentioned there the fact that, evaluate your position as a coach. Evil Geniuses does have a vast cast of coaches. Hepa, Sheikh Zula, you, Malik. Mnmzzz recently, joined as a generalist coach for the whole program. Does that potentially mean a future where we don't, see you after the player break?
You have to ask Soham that. I would love to stay with EG. I feel like I am honestly so disappointed in myself that I haven't been able to do more with the chance I've been giving here in EG, and I definitely feel like I have unfinished business. So even if there's other opportunities out there, I'm pretty determined to stay in EG as long as they will have me, of course, because this is beneath me, beneath EG. So I want nothing more than prove myself and prove that I can have success here in EG.
Much has been said about the team, all the changes that have been going on with the program over the course of the last 6 months, dropping EG White, the changes to EG Black, the changes to EG Blue. Does it seem, in your opinion, do you think management is on the same page of what the team needs as the team is seeing themselves?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a lot of productive conversations with Valens. I feel like he understands, like we're on the same page. There's been situations where I think EG has like prioritized, which I'm not against, like giving players a real shot at proving themselves and giving them time and giving them a good environment to show what they can do. And I think everyone on the team, including myself, have now received a pretty good chance to show what they have. Like we have a good work environment, not like a toxic environment. People are listening to each other. We're working hard. All these things. So we've had like prime conditions to perform. Of course, maybe you could say like Refresh is only practiced on 130. Maybe he didn't have a lot of time yet to prove himself. But I think everyone else had a fair shot. So now it's up to EG to evaluate who's been doing good enough at a job.
And with that, you talk a lot about Valen's role in the team. When it comes to sort of making these sort of executive decisions, whether it's changes to the roster or changes to the structure, is he sort of the ultimate authority when it comes to sort of decision making within the CS:GO program?
I think yeah, I mean he has to answer to the finance department probably, like how much money we can spend. But yeah, Valens has like the final say. I feel like he's very good at listening to me and the players about what we think, and everyone has a chance to be heard of what we think is the correct way forward. But yeah, ultimately he's the boss.
So one last question before we close out. So, there's been a lot of negative PR surrounding the Evil Geniuses program. Not really necessarily with you guys, sort of the external factors, but it's obviously I'm sure it's been a struggle, to have all this attention, negative attention towards the team. Is there sort of a pitch you would like to give fans of Evil Geniuses about why they should sort of stick with the program after the player break? Like, what's your sort of sales pitch to them about how the team will become turned around?
Yeah, I mean, I think for anything that doesn't have anything to do with the CS team, I don't spend a lot of time on it. I mean, I can only say that my experiences working with, especially Valence, has only been good. So I don't really have anything negative to say about EG management. In terms of like the criticism for the CS department, I can only say it's warranted. We obviously haven't been good enough. So, I mean, I appreciate all the EG fans that are still caring about us. They're watching the games. They're like even if they're writing on Twitter that we're absolute trash, I still appreciate that they care enough to even like throw that out there, So I just want to thank everyone that's still like sticking by us, still give a damn, still watch our games. I am extremely sorry that I haven't been able to deliver more as a coach in the 2 seasons I've had here. I'm extremely disappointed in myself, and I can only say that if I'm still in EG after the break, I'll continue to do everything I can to give them the results that they deserve. But yeah, I'm so sorry for what I've performed so far.
All right, so looking towards the future, hopefully EG finds its footing. Thanks so much for your time with this interview, and commiserations to the event.
Thank you.
Yep.